Good morning. I'm MJ from Lioness Publications, and we are going to be looking at Russell Vought. He is from the Office of Management and Budget in the United States government. He is the one that is involved with Trump and specifically with Project 2025. He will be deciding probably if and who and how employees are let go or furloughed or fired during this shutdown. So we're going to be looking at his transits primarily. We have one solar arc direction to look at, and we're going to be looking up to sort of late spring of next year because it seems like things move on to that point. So I didn't want to just stop at the end of this year. And that's only 3 months away, really. So let's take a look at one of the first things that is happening. And we have on 1015, we have Neptune conjuncting his Mercury. Neptune is sort of fantasy. Mercury is the way we think. Neptune can also be visionary. And this is great for someone that is in a very creative field. Because what do? They make illusions. They, think of someone that works for Disney. This would be an awesome angle to have because you would be so creative. You could take things and just create it from air. Your mind would be just geared to doing that. But when it comes to a public official, do you really want someone that sort of crafts narratives rather than the truth? Someone that sort of blurs fact and fiction, someone that really diminishes the clarity in things so you really can't understand it. So this is going to bring out the evasiveness, how he's manipulating things, and maybe the intentional distortion. Now, this is going to be coming back again right around February 1st of 2026. So right now it's retrograde. So it's coming over his Mercury. So it's not the first time it's going to be hitting. And it already hit once. Now, during this time of retrograde, he may be faced with all these lies or half truths or narratives he's actually presented, and he may have to rewrite some of them. So expect that the administration is going to be spending time rewriting things that they have said. Specifically, so if you look at this last example with what they're going to do with employees during this government shutdown, before they were going to be saying, well, they're going to be letting go, of all these democratic agencies and this and this and this, and it's going to be furloughs, and no, now it's going to be layoffs, now it's going to be firings. So they're probably going to have to revisit a lot of that and come back and make it clearer. Next thing we have is on 1014. So it's right around the same time. We have Saturn opposing Venus. Saturn restriction opposing is conflict. Venus is what? Think of it as the people, the communities out there. It's, it's also social type things, culture. But in this case, it's sort of the public rising up against what's happening here. So there's a public perception issue on what is being done. So you're going to expect to see criticism and disapproval. So this will be ongoing, but I think they're going to try to clarify it with this other sort of misstating some of the things they've said. Now on 1026, we have Saturn actually coming and trining Saturn. And this is in a retrograde motion at this point. And that can be a little concerning because that means there's going to be a lot of behind the scenes work. He's going to be doing things that we're not going to see. We're not really going to know about. And what he's going to be doing is reinforcing the foundation of what he wants to accomplish. So it's sort of quiet work. It can be done behind the scenes. It's subdued, there's very little public presence on this, so the public is not really going to be seeing it. So just something to be aware of, because Saturn trine Saturn goes direct, and that's going to be right around 1229. So about 2 months after. And that's when this actually becomes more in the public view. So it's stabilizing at that point, institutional reforms. It's building quietly, but you're building more in the open so people know what's being done. Slow, steady process. So when we look at what he's doing with Project 25, this means that he's probably having a lot of ability to get things done between the end of October and the end of December. Some of that, in effect, is going on without people realizing what's being done. So people may think that things are, okay, but they may not be. The next thing we have is coming up on 131, and that's Pluto in conjunct Mars. Pluto is, think of it as power, control. In conjunct is the break and adjust. Mars is what? Action. So this is suggesting to me that he actually has some maybe confrontations here. Something is not allowing him to be able to get control, to be able to push his agenda out. And that's the Mars, being able to get accomplished. So having control to be able to act the way you want to. So it's hard for him to act here. And because of that, he may get very obsessive about things. You may see a lot of his ambition showing through, a lot of rage. So internalized. So he just may be very, it may show that he's angry, but it's not, it's like bubbling to the surface. It may be that this is also going to cause some sabotage and passive resistance in areas that he deals with. So this is sort of like a blocking. Again, it's a break and adjust, which means you usually can't get there from here. But it doesn't mean that you can't adjust things and eventually get the path to go to where you want to go. Next thing we have is Neptune conjuncting Mercury coming back. So in this case, having faced something where they couldn't get it done, what do? He comes back and starts crafting new narratives, new gaslighting, intentional distortion of what's being done. So this sort of comes back. In addition, we have Saturn conjuncting Neptune. This is going to be 216 of 26. So this can actually be a very good angle. Saturn is the focus on what? On Mercury, mind, on plans, on processes. So this means that he would be able to do a lot of detail on things he needs to accomplish. So it's serious, deliberate thought, and also refining talking points. So this is sort of not so much stepping back, but making sure that everything is in line. In this case, it's clarity over being flair, but it's also some type of mental rigidity. So this is the way you want to have it done, and it's almost like you can't really move from that. Next thing coming right after this is on 317 is Saturn square Mars. So here we're now saying, oh, okay, we can act. Because Saturn is what? Restriction in this case. It's a square. On what? On action, on our Mars. Now, the square is not saying you can't act forever. It's just saying that it's so difficult to get there. So this is almost like sort of a stop and go. So there's tension, there's stress, and trying to get this done. And think of it as being blocked. It could be by the bureaucracy, could be just meeting resistance, but it's going to create what? Rage and overreaching. Next thing we have, and that's on 4-6, is Saturn is going to be conjuncting the Sun. Now, this is going to either culminate in something like a promotion or a resignation. It's hard to tell right now. We'll have to see what happens over the next few months to be able to drill down into where it is heading to. Now, it does indicate that there's accountability and there's limitations. It could also indicate that there's collapse. Again, right now, it's just too far out for us to say, okay, this is where it's heading. We'll need to see the other steps before that to see what happens with this. Because there's a lot of steps where it looks like he's able to move ahead, but then he also has things that are blocking him. So it could be he takes a step, 2 steps forward and a step back. I hope you enjoyed this and have a great day. Bye now.